from Conquering Mount Scrapmore with Brenda. I'm Brenda, and today we're here with the Hidden Star. This is a very traditional block, and I'm going to give you the traditional cutting instructions because it's important we remember how to do those traditional blocks with all those funny measurements, but it's not a tough block to do. It's just actually, it comes together very quickly, and you'll be surprised that you can do this. It'll be fun. But first I want to introduce you to Stephanie at Quilting with Stephanie Stitches. Now her YouTube channel is growing quickly and her voice is very unique in the quilting community on YouTube. So when you go check her out, tell her that Brenda from Conquering Mount Scrapmore sent you your way for her little shout out. So it's going to be her YouTube channel is going to be in the show notes below and a link, plus our Facebook group, which is growing rapidly, making use of the room, sharing fun photos. It's amazing what people are coming up with for their scrappy quilts. It's just great. And the last but not least is our Zoom sew link that gives us your sew date for until December. And it's the first Saturday of the month, except for the Saturdays, there's statutory holidays, and then it's moved to the second Saturday of the month. And it starts at 9 a.m. Mountain Standard Time, because I'm in Alberta, Canada, and it may run from 5 until 9. That'll be announced just before. So, let's start looking at this fun, beautiful block called the Hidden Star. Okay, we're at the sewing machine here, and this is our Hidden Star. And this is basically how we do the layout. So the first thing, you can see there's two different subunits here, right? One is a half square triangle and one is a square in a square, right? And then you have just a plain, 3.5 inch square. So what we're going to do, now all the cutting instructions are very traditional cutting instructions, the sizes and everything. But what I did is for instance, like the 2, 3 and 7/8 square, right? You have to cut once, you need 2 of them, right? Well, I just cut them and got it over with instead of doing, triangles 2 at a time. Because if I was doing something really scrappy, you would need to, be cutting all this stuff up anyways, right? Let's say you only had one piece of blue that was just barely big enough to make a triangle out of. Well, that's basically the triangle you're going to cut. And this way too, this is all straight of grain, and the bias is here. So this is going to lie really nice. So let's get this subunit done first. The half square triangles are the fast, easy ones to do. And everything at the end of this should measure out to, all the subunits should measure 3.5 inches. Alright, so let's get all those done first. These are such pretty, this is such a pretty block. And I'm hoping that I was debating between a green or coral. And I thought, well, maybe green. I don't know. I try to get some variety going on here, but I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how this goes. I think this is pretty. This is pretty. So you kind of match up your triangles, of course, and you just run them through, just like regular half square triangles. Okay, so now we're here at this point, and we're just going to quickly clip all this stuff off. And I'm going to get rid of those dog ears right away, because, you're going to be pressing to the dark, by the way, on this. So this all goes back like that. Oh. Get your dog ears off first, and it's easier to... And I go deeper on the dog ears. I go at a different... Some people just clip them off like this at a straight angle. I go in a little bit further just to make sure I'm trying to remove as much bulk as I can from this block. Okay, now, so that's the next one. So let's start on the next square in a square. So basically what you're going to do with this one is you're going to pinch this triangle together to get your center, and this bit together to get your center, and then you're going to line them up just like that, right? So you're going to have a little bit of hangover on each side, right? We got this last subunit done and finger pressed and placed, and then we can just concentrate on what we're doing. This doesn't hardly take any time, and after a while you get really good at eyeballing them. You know, like, alright, so this corner like that, this goes over like that, and you put them in, line them up, oops, line them up this way, there we go. Okay, this is a great one for leader ender projects, right? Doing all these little squares and squares. I guess they're called economy blocks or mini economy blocks. Anyways, they're 3.5 inch finish by the time you get them all finished. And you know, they're such a cute little block. And I think they were a little bit bigger than 2.5. So you need a little bit bigger piece than 2 5/8, I believe. Looks like 2 5/8. Yeah. And you just roll it over like that. Give it a quick little squish. And make sure your neutral is going the right way. There we go. Now, with this, you have a choice. You could either, I'm going to go this way, just because I'm not really fond of the idea of this blue showing through. And now I'm going to grab the next one. And it doesn't really matter where, because I mean, you're going to take your blue and you're going to squish it like that. So you get your pinch mark. And then, this is a good one to take to retreats, actually. And then you just line up your pinch marks, and you've got the blue going under is where you need it to. You need it to go under. And I suppose it can go out. Oh, never mind. It can go out. What am I dreaming about? Let's go to the path of least resistance. This will cause less resistance this way. Okay. Anyways, there we go. There. There we go, just like that. There. So, yeah, instead of pressing to the dark, you're going to press to the light. So, and let's see, this one's going this way. So you'll line up your blue and then pinch, and your angles, and then give it a pinch. That's a quick way of doing it. That's the way my grandma showed me how to do it. You know, she would never mark stuff. She would just, you know, work quickly and, you know, work quickly and quietly, and just, you know, be sitting by her sewing machine for hours. And it was like, okay, you know. So I guess that was her way of dealing with, you know, trying to raise a family and everything. So here we go now. Okay, and we're going to go like this. We're just lining up that square on both sides and pinching. Give it a little pinch. Lining it up and line it up and pinch it. Okay, line them up. There we go. And now we start adding on green. There. Okay, and this goes out like this. Now, you can get rid of that dog ear now if you want, or you can wait until you trim up the entire block. It's fine. So however you want to do this, that works well for you. Okay, here we go. Pinch, and we pinch. It sounds weird to do all this pinching, but it works. And you just make a little dent. It's quick to iron out. Okay. these are, like I say, some people iron them in, and I'm like, well, why would you want to iron that in? You know, but you can just do lots with just a little lining up of a pinch mark, you know. There. Okay. Oh, I'm looking so forward to summer and being with grandkids and having water fights with them and all the fun stuff. We got the water fight. We have a beautiful little water park not far from us. So the kids and I, the families, walk down and we bring snacks and drinks and we make a day of it at the water park. And by the time everybody's done, you know, you've got all your sunscreen on because I burn really quickly because that's what redheads do. I'm kind of looking forward to that kind of thing in the summer. But what are you looking forward to? That's I'd like to know. What kind of things are you looking forward to, and what things are you missing at this time of year? You know, I know some people, like, they miss their garden, right? They really miss gardening, and you know, and that's really important to them, is their gardening. Okay, so with this last one, it's more, you can either pinch or eyeball. It's up to you. But you kind of get a sense, by this time you should be getting a sense of where that pinch, where the center is. The other thing is, if I had done this across from each other, this one would fold up and it would give me a line. It would point to where the center is. But I'm going to just pinch them together very quickly and get that center. Yeah. I miss summer. You know, that's one of the things about being Canadian. Yeah, you look forward all winter to summer. You get like 2 weeks of it. But yeah. But some of the weather has not been very pleasant, you know. So I guess we should be thankful. Okay, last but not least. Oops, where did that pinch mark go? I didn't pinch this. That's where it went. It disappeared because I didn't do it. Okay. Now, I don't know if you can see this on the side of me here. I do have a squaring up, you know, a little thing to square them up. And just make sure they are like 3.5 inches, you know. So I think they should be good, you know, but you never know until you actually get there sometimes, you know. That, and this block is one of those blocks where there's all these cute, darling little pieces, and you know, you don't want to be messing it up because you didn't bother to square it up, right? Or square them down. I guess that's the better phrase, is you're squaring them down to 3.5, and you're hoping that they're big enough to be squared down to 3.5, because sometimes that happens too. And I'll just go quick, give you a quick little preview of what I'm going to do. There we go. Now, get through the last of these, and then I'll put everything back in place. And you can kind of see where we're headed here, because all the sewing, except for the joining of the squares, is actually done now. So you put them back like that. I know we haven't been putting them back, so you kind of, maybe if you got lost in all of this, it would be there for you. So there's all these little dog ears too. So when you're squaring them up, you have the opportunity now to remove all those weird little dog ears, right? So there's the block, right? And now we're just going to square them up. Now, I have a little squaring up pad, and the first thing we're going to show you how to do is square up the triangles. Now, this is not my favorite way of doing triangles, but it works. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take like 3.5, so it looks like it's 3.5, okay, like it looks that, And I'm just going to line this up on the 45 to make sure that I'm not out anywhere. Let's see, align this to here. Yeah, it looks pretty good. It looks like I've made my 3.5. Wow, I'm impressed. That's good. That's a good thing. Now let's talk about, now if you were squaring them up, right, like you were, if you, let's say you had to square them up, then it might be a different thing. So now this looks pretty, wow, they look pretty good. Wow. All I have to do is like put the dog ears off. Okay, well, just a sec here. We'll take another one, take a good look. With those measurements, you should be pretty close because you've got like a good quarter here and you've got a good quarter over here. Yeah, these should be, wow, they are very, very close to where I need them. So all I'm going to do is trim the dog ears off and let's sew, because we're going to throw caution to the wind today. Because all they're saying is that you need the dog ears off. I'm going to go okay with that. I'm okay with that. So let's do that. Let's just take off the dog ears, including the outside ones, because it's already in your hand. So yeah, I'm impressed that I'm on a roll today. I'm in a good place because I didn't have to square up anything. So yay. Normally if you cut, now if you don't like using the 7/8 or 5/8 or whatever, go bigger and then trim down. I mean, that's the only way you're going to get around this, is if you go big and then trim down. Like, but then you're trimming on your half square triangles, because your half square triangles are, what are they now? Yeah, you cut 4 of them at 2 3/8. Well, if you go up to 2.5, right, because that would be your next line, you know, all of a sudden now you've got to trim away that 1/8. You must trim it away because it's in your way, right? So this is why it saves a little bit to do it the traditional way. But at the same time, you know, it's all that fiddly measuring, right? So it's kind of, you know, what would you prefer to do? So let's get this under the sewing machine while... Okay, now I've got this block up so I can see where they point, right? Like where, so I don't miss my point. So I'm just going to line it up, take my time, line it up, and it starts to flip, get it under, and here we go. Hey! Now, in order to make this point, I have to peek under and hope. Because when I'm webbing, the only way I'm going to make that point is if I kind of work at lining it up. There, yeah. And I can feel where it is, so I know I'm in good shape. And I don't get too close to it. I should be good. And again, yeah. Like if you were pinning, if you were going to pin all of this, what I would suggest people do is when they're pinning it, to pin right where they need to be on that line. Right? Like right to make that point. Right? That would be the only way to get around it. Right? But, and, okay. So let's get this back out, lay it back, all back out. So here we go. So you can see what this is starting to look like. There. And now, again, you're going to be doing a blind one. Or, we could start from the other end, right? And flip it this way. Right? So now all that stuff is on top. Except for the one in the middle, which is okay. Alright. And you can steer as to where that needs to be. Right? Okay, now this is the middle, and that goes under like so, because all the green bits go to the small blue square, and lining it up just like that. And where is it? Yeah, it's good. There. Okay. I did it. Okay, last one goes like this. It's flipped under. There we go. And steering around, let's say you were short on one of these. You're not, but I mean, let's say we were. You could then steer out or around that point to make your point. It's kind of like cheating, but it works. It does work, you know, and that's important that you know how to do that too, right? So here we go. I want to see this point, but I lose these two. So what we'll do is we will go this way, because then I get 2 out of 3 points. I get to see where 2 out of 3 of them are. So then we only have to worry about the middle one. Okay, now I clip this so I can see what I'm doing. Okay. That goes out, and that goes in. Come on, there you go. There. Now, all the way out. That's a good, healthy little point. Some good shape there. And now right to the end. Oops. There we go. There. And the last one. Okay. So here, and the only way I'm going to see those two is to go this way. So now, okay, line it up. Okay. Take this, line it up. Right at the edge, but okay. I just backstitched a bit just to make sure I had the edge sewn. Okay. There, yeah, we got a good quarter there. Okay, now, oh, I got a healthy quarter there. It's going to be good. Nice nest. There we go. And all the way to the end, and I want to make sure I don't miss that. Oh, perfect. Okay, and we go to our ta-da moment. So this is my hidden star. I think this turned out really well, and the traditional piecing, I was very surprised that I did not have to trim any of my blocks, like, or, you know, because everything just cut perfectly. It was like, wow. Yes, they're awkward sizes to cut when you're cutting them out and then cutting them on point or whatever, but this came together really beautifully, so I was quite impressed with that. Now, when I did look at it, I did not miss any of my points because of steering and making sure that I was able to see the point or kind of feel where the point was as I was sewing it. And that also helps to give the crisp look to the block. Now, I will say with my color choices, I think if I would have tried a coral instead of the green, the blue would have popped. And that would have been really, or the coral would have popped against the blue. But, you know, that's for maybe later. We can do this as a leader ender, and we can run some of these through that way. That'll be fun. So, anyways, I don't have a bonus block because we didn't do any stitch and flips. So, that's kind of sad, but it'll be fine. So, this is a 9.5 unfinished block. Finishes at 9 inches in your quilt. We can have the cutting instructions for you in a couple of different sizes in the show notes below, so make sure you check those show notes, right? If your device does not allow you to do show notes, all the cutting instructions are there. So we aren't mentioning cutting instructions in our video. So until we meet again, I hope you have an absolutely amazing week ahead. Okay, you take care until then. Bye! My husband and I would love to thank you for coming along with us on our quilting journey and the YouTube adventure that we're on. We have some wonderful plans for 2023, and it includes a lot more, like with the Facebook group and the rooms feature and sewing and hanging out with people, those monthly Zooms, sew dates, are still in the works. We have a lot of fun ideas coming up for 2023, and we hope you share, like, and subscribe with your friends. That little notification button and subscribing to us really helps us out. Commenting helps us out too. So if you like what you're seeing, let us know. Even send us a heart on the comment. That helps so much for us. Okay, you have an absolutely fabulous 2023, and all of our best wishes for you in the future. Okay, take care. Bye.